threats you might not see coming. Credit card alerts, bank statements, and even monitoring your credit information.
DPD just told us a manhunt is still underway after a deadly shooting along I-35 not far from the Dallas Zoo. Investigators say when the suspect walked up to the victim's car, the victim got out and tried to run away. The suspect shot him in broad daylight right there on the highway. A lot of people have been talking about the shooting on social media, and some of them say the victim is a well-known rapper in Dallas's hip-hop circle. And just to put this in context, Dallas is on pace to have more homicides this year than 2019, which was the city's worst year in more than a decade.
Won't they send those extra resources here? And so now police say they're taking things a step further and appealing directly to Governor Bill Lee. Tuesday evening around 6:30, 2 bullets go flying into the trunk of this car as a man drove it on I-40 near Appling. It's one of 36 shootings on Memphis highways this year. Memphis police have been maintaining a presence on highways for the past 2 years, trying to combat this, and recently putting even more officers on highway patrol.
We are pulling people from neighborhoods to put them on the interstate.
Last week, Police Director Michael Rawlings called on the Tennessee Highway Patrol to step up their patrols on Memphis highways. We asked the THP if they're doing this, but the most we could get them to say was that they'll continue to maintain high visibility across Tennessee, including interstates in Memphis. But that high visibility isn't visible enough for Memphis police.
We've been asking for support for a long time. We hadn't got what we wanted.
Rawlings says he'll now focus on asking Governor Lee for the extra patrols, acknowledging THP, like MPD, has only so many resources.
I know they're strapped by resources, but I think the governor is positioned to order THP to hire the additional staff they need to give Shelby County the attention that we deserve.
Attention the numbers would suggest Memphis clearly needs.
Tonight, police are still investigating a deadly shooting that shut down traffic on I-20 eastbound near the downtown connector. It was shut for hours today. This is just the latest in a string of similar shootings over the last 2 months. 11 Alive's Brittany Klein-Peter takes a closer look.
Since the beginning of this year, there has been 5 reported shootings along major highways in the Atlanta area. The first happened January 4th. A man was found with a gunshot wound in his head along I-20 near Capitol Avenue. Less than 2 weeks later, another man was shot and killed inside his car on I-85 near North Druid Hills. Then on February 10th, 2 people were shot while riding along I-85 southbound in Midtown. The very next day, Atlanta rapper Sci-Hi the Prince told police he was chased and shot at while driving along I-20 West near Hamilton E. Holmes Drive. Then Thursday morning, another shooting near I-20 and the downtown connector. Atlanta police say they were called to the area for a single car crash just after 5 a.m. When officers got there, they found a man dead from a gunshot wound. Police don't believe the gunshot wound was self-inflicted because the car was riddled with bullet holes. So the question remains, why have there been so many shootings lately on Atlanta interstates? Police say they don't have an answer, but they do believe they're not connected.
It's kind of been an anomaly as to what has happened recently as far as on the highway itself, but we do not believe that they are related.
Due to their locations and sometimes lack of witnesses, APD admitted that these type of investigations have come with some unique challenges.
Each individual case has their own set of unique challenges and circumstances, but we do our best on the investigations.
Police still have no suspects in Thursday morning shooting.
Since just Thursday, at least 22 people were shot, and 4 of those victims died, including a 15-year-old girl. A string of violence adding to a growing trend that we're seeing during the pandemic. CBS 46's Adam Murphy is live at the scene of one of those fatal shootings on Glenwood Avenue in Atlanta. And Adam, residents say that they're fed up with these senseless shootings.
Well, good evening, Rick. I can tell you I've spoken with many people coming and going from the Waffle House in this area who say they are sick and tired of it. The violence continues to get worse, and they feel like nothing is being done to address the issue. Just off Glenwood Avenue near Atlanta's Grant Park, there's a roadside memorial for 15-year-old Diamond Johnson. She was fatally shot during a fight between 2 groups of teenagers Saturday night outside the Waffle House in the Glenwood Park shopping plaza.
It's heartbreaking especially hearing of a young teen being killed. So now we definitely have to stop the violence and take some type of accountability.
About 3 hours later, outside Artisans Bar and Gallery on Peachtree Street, there was another shooting stemming from a dispute inside the bar. One man was wounded, and 22-year-old Antonio Sykes was killed. 4 other shootings happened in the city of Atlanta between Saturday evening and early Sunday morning, for a total of 6 shootings, leaving 2 dead and 10 wounded, just in a 6-hour time span. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms addressed the crime trend during her State of the City address a few weeks ago.
But just as we have overcome challenges in the past, Atlanta will get to the other side of this COVID crime wave, and we will get this violence under control.
Most recent crime stats show there have been 208 shootings in Atlanta this year, up 51% from last year, and 40 homicides, a 60% increase from 2020.
And we are committed to putting an additional 250 new officers on the street during the next fiscal year.
Now, this is no doubt turning into a political issue as this is an election year for mayor. I can tell you that Council President Felicia Moore, also running for mayor, issued this statement late to me today saying that she is angry and frustrated with the lack of acknowledgement by the administration that they are in a crisis and the numerous crime plans that have been released have not helped.
Another expressway shooting this morning, bringing the total number so far this year to 42. Last year, a law went into effect trying to curb these types of shootings.
And since then, instead of going down, they've risen dramatically. WGN's Brona Tumulty is joining us with more on when we might see what's being done to make this a safer place.
Good evening, guys. Yeah, the numbers do seem to be going up and up. 1 person killed, 2 others hurt after that shooting earlier on I-57. And while I'm told that efforts are being made behind the scenes to clamp down on expressway shootings, incidents so far this year compared to last are already more than 3 times higher.
She is my absolute best friend. And I lost that.
We spoke with Jayla Shelton more than 2 years ago after her 55-year-old mother, Tamara Clayton, was shot and killed on I-57 on her way to work. Her family feeling the pain all over again today after someone else lost their life on the same highway.
It just opened up a can of worms with that family, and she's exhausted. But she wants to see the cameras be put out here ASAP.
After her death, legislation was passed in her name, the Tamara Clayton Expressway Shooting Act. It took effect last January after Andrew Holmes and Clayton's family spent a lot of time going back and forth to Springfield.
We worked to get it there. They worked to get it passed. Now where are the cameras?
But the numbers are going in the wrong direction. In 2019, there were 51 incidents. 2020 saw 128, and now we're not even a week into March, and we're already at 42.
We didn't hit 42 until June the 6th of last year, so it's steady increasing.
On top of that, the agency allocated $12.5 million last month to state police for the purchase and installation of license plate readers and software to help catch the people pulling triggers on our expressways. The plan is to put those in 47 locations, but when that's going to happen remains to be seen. And in the meantime, expressway shootings aren't slowing down.
Show some love, put the guns down, stop shooting. This is the dangerous, and our expressways are very dangerous driving on in the city of Chicago.
Police investigating a shooting that happened on the Dan Ryan Expressway near 79th overnight.
Yeah, Judy Wang is live with details this morning. Judy?
Good morning. Just a few minutes ago, we received some updated information from state police. 4 people are in state police custody following the shooting on the expressway. A Metro police officer played a role in the apprehension of the suspect. He witnessed the shooting and then followed the shooter's car. This happened at about 9 last night. A woman says she and her sister were in a maroon sedan on the Dan Ryan. She says a man pulled out a gun and fired from his driver's side and hit the passenger side of her car multiple times. She says she swerved as she tried to get away and was sideswiped in the process. A Metro police spokesperson tells us that the Metro officers saw the whole thing and followed the shooter's car to a gas station at 79th and Lafayette and called it in. State troopers and Chicago police arrive. It was Metro and Chicago police officers who detained the suspects. Investigators also examined a silver vehicle with Texas license plate, which may have been the other car involved in the shooting. The woman who was driving the car riddled with bullet holes did not want to appear on camera. She says she doesn't know why the shooter fired at her car.
It was very scary. Like, I fear for my life. I never experienced anything that in my whole entire lifetime. I wouldn't have even thought I would have ever got shot on the expressway. And then there's two women in a car. And like, you're a man and you're shooting at two women.
The woman also says she wonders if this may have been a case of road rage, but we have no confirmation of that at this time from Illinois State Police. They did close off parts of the Ryan and also the Bishop Ford for the investigation for a couple of hours. No one was injured in this incident. In all of last year, 2020, there were 128 expressway shootings in the Chicago area. We are already more than halfway there. State police report 73 Chicago area expressway shootings so far this year.
And another shooting on a St. Louis interstate. This one last night on Interstate 70 left a teenager critically injured.
And Fox 2's Kelly Hoskins joins us now live from downtown St. Louis tonight with details. Kelly?
Well, Mandy and Vic, detectives here at police headquarters have been very busy working on the recent interstate shootings. In fact, this is the 9th interstate shooting here in our area in recent months, leaving some drivers on edge. St. Louis City Police are investigating a late-night shooting. A teenager was shot while driving on Interstate 70 in North St. Louis. The shooting happened in the eastbound lanes of the interstate near Goodfellow just before 9. A 17-year-old listed in critical condition, and the gunman is still out there. Just last week, a woman died after being shot on Interstate 70 near the Madison exit north of downtown. No arrests have been made in the case. Authorities say the recent crime on interstates in St. Louis City and County raises serious concerns, and the violence has some drivers scared.
It just hurts my heart, you know what I'm saying? Because it might be me. It's bystanders, man, hey, it's need to stop.
St. Louis County Police said they responded to 16 assaults with firearms on Interstate 70, Interstate 64, and Interstate 44 in 2020. Kristen Whitted was shot and killed while driving on Interstate 170 near Olive last year, when police said the occupants of 2 other vehicles also driving were exchanging gunfire. Whitted was caught in the crossfire, and a suspect was arrested. The Missouri State Highway Patrol said it does not routinely patrol Interstate 70 in the city. However, the patrol has started periodic enforcement at the request of the city police chief and the governor, Mike Parsons. Well, detectives here at police headquarters say that sometimes investigating interstate shootings can be very difficult due to a lack of witnesses, but they are encouraging anyone with information in regards to the recent interstate shootings to contact Crime Stoppers. You may remain anonymous.
On Thursday, 2 people were injured after being shot on 270 near 315 in North Columbus. Police say this was not a random attack, but there are more than a dozen highway shootings they think might be.
Crime Tracker 10's Lacey Crisp is investigating this string of shootings to see if the city of Columbus should be concerned.
They shot us. They shot at us.
I got shot at, so I just floored it and took off.
Shots fired on the freeway.
So I was in the far right lane. I heard pop, pop, pop. So I heard the 3 pops.
Did you think at any point in time, oh no, not again?
In 2003, 2004, Columbus drivers were terrified of driving on the south side on 270.
Yeah, there was a lot of panic.
I remember that there was a lot of fear, a lot of people worried, a lot of unknowns, and we threw a lot of personnel at it for those unknowns.
Between May 2003 and February 2004, investigators say Charles McCoy shot at 24 targets from cars to a school, in one that claimed the life of Gail Knisley.
Somebody just shot him in the car, and my girlfriend is getting shot.
And it wasn't, unfortunately, until Mrs. Knisley was killed on November 25th, 2003, that law enforcement sort of came together and started talking about all the different incidents that were going on.
Harry Trombitis was the case agent for the FBI at the time of the freeway shooter. They were able to identify Charles McCoy and arrest him. With experience investigating freeway shootings, Trumbida says word of more than a dozen shootings on the freeways in and around the Columbus area in the last few months has him worried.
It raised some concerns.
In September, Chandretta Boykins was driving on 270 southbound at East Main when she thought she heard gunshots in her direction.
I slowed down, and my husband said, somebody's shooting at us. And I'm like, no way.
When she stopped, she found a hole in her car. That same night, about an hour later, just miles away, another car was hit.
And there's a car that just shot a gun at our car.
Since June, 14 shootings have happened on the freeways, mainly on 270.
That's what we're looking at. No one seems to be specifically targeted, it's just random.
Columbus Police Detective Christopher Jones noticed a pattern of shootings, groupings on the time of day with no explanation.
It makes me feel pretty uneasy. I'd like to get this taken care of pretty quickly before someone gets hurt or something tragic happens.
Commander Bob Strasbow says drivers don't need to drive in fear, but they do need to be vigilant and be aware of their surroundings.
Typically, people don't stick their hands out of their car going 65 miles an hour on the freeway.
While Columbus police are still working to see if the shootings are connected, Boykins hopes they arrest the person who shot her before they hurt someone.
To know that there's somebody out here that has no regard for life at all.
In Columbus, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.